Alright, so in this video I'm going to show you how to change the battery in a Honda Fit key fob that looks like this. It's got some rounded buttons on the physical key, and this was used from 2009 to 2013. So the first thing you're going to need is a really small screwdriver. So you might want to get a precision screwdriver set like this. You can get them for like $4 on Amazon. I'll link to them below here. So because the first thing we got to do is at the base of the key in the back here, there's a really small Phillips screw. So we need to get that off first so we can get to the internals of the key fob. So once we get that off, and that can be difficult, especially the first time, so you really got to push down sometimes pretty hard to get traction enough. But once we've gotten that off, go ahead and set your Phillips screwdriver aside and grab a flathead. And in the lower right here, there's a notch right in the middle of the key. And if we put our flathead into that small notch and twist, it gives a little bit of leverage. And you'll see now that without the screw there, this base really comes up quite easily. The only thing that's holding it together is a little bit of a notch at the top here. So we can actually just separate this by, if we pull it a bit towards us and then flip it up, you can see this notch here in the top was really the only thing that was holding this together once we removed this screw. So let's go ahead and pull out the internals section of this key. So everything that we actually need is in here. So let's go ahead and set aside the case for now. Now looking at the internals here, if we look at it like this, there's a notch in the upper right here when you're oriented like this. If you can see, that notch is where we're going to put our flathead screwdriver again and do the same thing we did, which is just twist. And that'll give us some leverage to pop off the internal section. Now we really only are concerned with this side here. And this is the battery that we want to change. So we just take our flathead, get a little bit underneath here, and pop this thing out. And you can see the battery that we need is a CR1616 3-volt coin battery. So when you put a new one in, make sure the positive sign with all the lettering is facing away from you. And this one you can kind of just pop back in. There's not really any big prongs or overhangs here, so don't worry about breaking anything. You can kind of just push it in and pop it back in. Okay, at this point it's just reassembling everything back together. So we've got the new battery in, and we're going to put our internal piece back together. One thing you might want to check is if you have the light up button here, make sure that your battery got all seated correctly. And then just putting the internal piece back together here. And then one little trick, just to make sure, if you set this lip first at the top, then just kind of keep that lip set. It'll be easier to get everything to set at the base here. And then that's it. You put the little screw back in and you've changed the battery on the Honda Fit used from 2009 to 2013. And again, the battery that you need is a CR1616 3-volt battery.